Doing well. Uh, some people don't like saying good morning. I get it. mourning means that you are mourning or grieving over somebody, but let's be specific here and appropriate and remember that that is not the mourning that I am speaking of. We've got to be a little wiser in our ways now. We are closer to graduation than we were when we learned things like that, and words are spells. We know words are spells, but can we take it further than that? Do we understand truly what that means? I don't know. So this might look strange to some of you, but I like to start with a graphic. Let me turn the comments on. And I'm going to ramble for a minute. Okay, now I'm being targeted. Geez, who's doing this? Huh? That's funny. It's not funny, but it's funny that, it happens, but I'm going to get into that right now, I think. Now, I did leave information in the description. If you are new here, you should always check the description for extra nuggets that maybe I can't say aloud to pass up certain censorship issues, or things that just, let you know what the video is about, and if you are interested in the video. I have kind of an interesting picture up here for a specific purpose that I will get to in a moment. I do like to ramble just for a minute, but it is related to what we're discussing here. And a lot of this, as you know, is about personal testimony, because through the word of our testimony, that is how we defeat our enemies. We defeat those who have come against us with the word of truth, and with the truth of our testimony, and the fact that we are still standing and we are still here. I will be very honest and blunt and open with you all in saying, in one area, it feels like I am kind of giving up, and I hate that terminology. Somebody once told me that I quit everything. That person didn't know me very well. I do not quit everything. I'm like a dog in a bone when I believe in something, and I'm tenacious. I do not give up. Please forgive me. My other senior dog is on the decline and will be leaving us soon, but because of that, he's very needy. So if you hear me going back and forth and dealing with dogs barking and stuff, it's because he's not feeling well, and he's never comfortable. So he's quite grumbly sometimes. I don't know where you want to be. He likes to sit in the bathroom. I don't know what he likes to do that for, but we'll let him. He's old. We'll let him have his way. Okay, so part of my testimony was the fact that this happened to me back in 2018-19 when my settlement, when my insurance through work ran out. I was working for a bank at that time. Before that, I was in healthcare, and I had cared for my father as well. I had commuted every weekend to care for my father, and I was doing college at the same time. So I was just like hit. And he encouraged me. He said, maybe you should just apply for disability since you're always having back problems, and that'll give you time to see what's wrong. And I should have known right then, like, my spouse isn't like that. He flat out has told me in the past that he did not want to work. I was in danger of losing a job because I took time off to go with our son to the doctors, because I thought he should have at least one parent with him. He was having some troubles as a child. And I lost my job, and he said to me, you did that on purpose just to make me get a job. And nothing could have been further from the truth. But I'm laying this groundwork for a reason. I'm showing you that for whatever reason, God gave me the eyes to see what was happening to me, and now I was able to warn everybody over the last 3.5 years about what is happening in our current situation and current events. Now let me state, some of this is speculation, some of this is editorializing, some of this is my personal testimony. I do not consent to anyone else using it in part nor in whole. I will not use specific names of people, but this is my life story, and I will tell it as I see fit. And I am aware of legalities. I understand basics of law. So when people try to have certain conversations and debates, they should understand the topic of which they're speaking. Just because you speak louder does not make you right. Just because you speak louder and just because you're a bully does not make that okay. There you go. Now, lately, I've had to deal with, and again, I'm getting to a point here, and I'm sorry for those of you who don't like intros like this, but thank you for sharing your experiences. It takes a lot to do that. Nice to see you, Suzanne. I hope everything's been well with you. Please don't thank me. It's the least I could do. If I could do more, I would. But because of my beliefs and my convictions now, I'm kind of in a box as far as chess goes. And so I have to segue. I have to learn how to move differently or navigate these waters in a different way. Recently, I've been dealing with peeking in doors. I told you there's an issue with doorknobs. I'm not allowed to have any privacy. I got bashed in the head with the door January 11th, 2019. Had to go to the hospital. Had the back of my left ear sewn back on. And at that point in time, the hospital was very empty. You know, I didn't realize at the time, like, something's wrong here. And I think whatever this is, I think it goes in waves. I think it goes from state to state. And I think BLM is not what they tell you. BLM, what they want you to be looking up, or the truth that you should be seeing at, is Bureau of Land Management. Had crazy week last week, but I hope it's all right. BLM, Bureau of Land Management, is what you should be looking into. For whatever reason, this is going in waves. It is going from state to state. This is why you're seeing a lot of people traveling and migrating when normal people who are having a hard time with inflation are unable to move, right? They're unable to relocate. They're unable to travel. They don't do those types of things a lot. But you see YouTubers, they never had a problem traveling. They never had needed those papers that were talked about in the beginning of CV. You see them go everywhere, right? And I'm going to show you right now that this trend with this stealth camping, I was watching it too. And again, God, I'm being shown things for a reason. And when I'm shown them, I expose them loud and proud because number one, and this is a lesson in consent, when you expose the darkness, when you expose one of their plans, they cannot continue that plan with you any longer. Thank you. It's nice to see you, sir. I think you're sir. I don't know. Nice to see you. They cannot continue with that plan any longer when you expose it, number one. So if in the middle of one of their spells you see what's going on and they're trying to bind you up, it's almost like a bunch of people being around you in a circle and then like everyone taking a turn and walking across and across and across and across with you in the middle and them taking strings, right? Just binding you up. There used to be like an old macrame thing you'd do in home ec like that with nails and string. But that's kind of, if you give it a physicality, if you give it a visual, that's kind of what that would look like. And I speak to that a lot about how people use their words around you. But what's happening now is happening in waves. It has to do with the Bureau of Land Management, and it also has a lot to do with national parks because on federal land, you are not allowed to, most normal people, and this comes from David Paulides, some information I got from one of his videos, and that's called sourcing. I'm giving credibility to the source where I received said information. I am not plagiarizing him, okay? So I do wish people on YouTube would really just start to learn what they're speaking of, because again, this is why people come after the TI community, because we look like we know nothing about technology. Let me tell you that I was a cell phone tech rep. I was a SME, a subject matter expert. That's what I did. I walked around the floor and helped other representatives with their phone calls and escalated calls and our tech systems and did troubleshooting and all this. I was just very diverse in that job. I was also in healthcare and restaurant business when I first started working. So I see what's happening, and by my own power, I would have never seen these things. So yes, I give glory to the Most High for showing me these things. And if that offends you, I am not sorry. I am not sorry. I am feeling like I'm giving up in one arena. And I want you to know that because I want to be very open and honest with you, and I want to be very frank with you. The job that I had, I was so excited to have it. And even the woman who I knew I had issue with, and I knew that I should not have taken the job. I knew that it was going to be trouble. I knew that they were his people that were there, my husband's people. And people will say, You have a paranoia complex. You think everybody's after you. No, not everybody. Just the people he knows, right? That's pretty common knowledge that when you offend somebody or you hurt somebody, their family is now your enemies. Like, that's just basic tribal understanding, right? Like that's inherent knowledge that I think we all have. When you hurt someone, their friends or family wants to hurt you because you hurt them, okay? That's the surface issue. That's the shallower issue. When we get to the deeper issue, I am what they call a goyim. I have basically been a tribute from day one. I was maneuvered into switching doctors. I was maneuvered into switching pharmacies. I told you guys last year I did a video on the other channel, and yeah, I am sorry that some of the videos were lost. That should not have been done. I didn't consent to any of that, but they do what they want. I did a video on how the last time I took my subscription for those painkillers for the Norco, I said that they weren't doing me right. I did not feel normal. I've never done fentanyl knowingly or willingly, but I warned everybody, don't be even the pharmacies are getting bad medication with things laced in them. I told you guys this. And here we are now. We've come full circle. And everything that God has shown me is coming to be. This is not about me. Please don't stop watching the video because you think I'm going to be arrogant or talk about myself. This has nothing to do with me. I'm a piece of crap. And I know this. And so if my enemies are watching this, I am very aware of the mistakes that I have made. I take full accountability for the choices that I made. But taking full accountability does not remove accountability from those who put me in the situation. These things are not mutually exclusive. They're not on their own. They don't stand alone. It's not just one or the other. You can have more than one thing that is true. So this isn't about me. This is about me using my story to defeat them by empowering you with knowledge and information. And I want you to know that I'm a hard worker. I had a very good resume until several years ago when my body started to fail and I started having strange things happen. I believe my life has been greatly guided and manipulated through things like hypnotism and suggestion, powerful suggestion. I do believe my drinks have been what do you want to say? How do you call that? What do you use? Doctored? Whatever. I believe I've been roofied in my own house. And you're going to say, well, you're just paranoid, Jen. No, really, I'm not paranoid of everybody. It's just these certain people that want to hurt me. But I do also know I'm not in an area where we have a lot of homelessness. I'm not in an area that's downtrodden anymore. Yes, we do have our poorer areas, and I'm in one of those areas, but it is, for all intents and purposes, what you would call small town America. There are no issues like that here. That's the problem. But they're right down the road, and I used to live there. They tried to push me out of my house. I slept in the snow twice, but I'm a mother, and I was not leaving my minor children with the kind of individual who would do something like this. No matter how bad you hurt somebody, that does not give them the right to unlimited vengeance upon you and your life and your kin. It doesn't. It just doesn't. This is why forgiveness and love are so important in this time. I forgive these people. I just don't want to be around them, which I think is pretty wise. Why am I telling you this? What does this have to do with you? What you're looking at here, and I do like to ramble for 5 to 8 minutes usually. What you're looking at here is a picture of our lovely nation. And I do believe it can be lovely. And I do believe there are lovely people in it. So please don't be mistaken. When I say certain things, I don't mean, I don't intentionally make blanket statements. There are anomalies. There are rules or exceptions to every rule. Don't give in by putting yourself down. Move forward with the best intentions. Not always easy. I understand in many ways, though. My family, what I considered to be my family, needs to understand that I know how fallible I am, and I do not think that I am perfect. I don't think I'm better than any of you, even though I know some of you watch. Some of you even text me, I know that you're not supposed to like me and you don't want to like me, but I know that you do. And I know that that has torn you. So maybe you keep your distance now. But that fact that I'm not living up to this paper doll image that somebody else wanted to make of me, this smear campaign, this fragging of my reputation and my spirit. You can't just go around ruining souls and thinking that that's okay. You can't just go around and being a ruiner of dreams, but most importantly, you cannot be a family annihilator and think that there's nothing wrong with you. I mean, you can think that, but it's not true. We have a lot of these people in our society today. I had no idea. I didn't know. If I could have told you all sooner, I would have, when I still had a platform and I had thousands of people paying attention to me. I should have known. But you don't know, I was not raised that way. When I said no to adults, I was literally sat on a toilet with soap in my mouth. How else are you going to keep it there but by chewing on it? Especially when you're there for a long period of time. So literally saying no was washed out of me. And that meant also saying no to men. But I also know that those close to me admitted to hypnotizing me to get certain physical things from me. They've admitted this. Like, this is what he's done. This is what I live with. Why do I do this? Why do I do this if it brings me so much grief? Right now, I'm dealing with, I can't go to the bathroom without somebody peeking in. When I say it's my womanly time, for some reason, this person needs to verify that for themselves. And I'm not going to be graphic about that. If you can't figure that out, what that means, then that message isn't for you. But for some reason, they need to verify that I'm still having that time a month. Why does that matter? Because you can still have children. You see, I believe that this is my opinion. This is speculative. This is me putting the threads together. Let me be very clear about this. All information shared as per the Fair Use Act of 1976. I am utilizing my right, exercising my right of free speech. Now, if you're going to, if you want to censor me, you better get to censoring the porn that's on YouTube here, that's readily available to people. All for money, these people have ruined entire generations of people. And if that does not break your heart, there's something wrong inside with you. I don't mind saying that. This is me trying desperately to reach people. I lived in a beautiful community. I had good relationships with these people. But you can't hide who you are for too long. And things started to slip, especially on social media. People's husbands cross-dressing. Women hitting on me. Getting offended if I did not reciprocate. Ruining my life if I did not reciprocate. My own family member hitting on me when I was hanging at their house visiting in another state. This has all been planned. You are going to see things like incest come to the forefront. You are going to see things like age of consent go out the window. Both of those things go together. Don't ask me how I know these things. There are some sick videos out there I don't pay attention to. I get what you're saying. Those type of videos, not my forte. Yeah, I don't dwell like that either. This is a warning. I did not know. I simply did not know. The second I started trying to educate my children about porn, the second that I started being firm, my gosh, I didn't turn the do not disturb thing on. Hang on one second, guys. My bad. Sorry about that. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. I was going to do another video today, and the Holy Spirit was really on me. And it's been a long time since that's happened in regards to a video topic. So again, this is not me saying, haha, I was right, told you so. This is me saying, please start listening to me. I have built my credibility up for 4 years with you guys, most of you. If you know people, bring them to the channel, not for me. It has nothing to do with me. The channel will never be monetized. Totally in donations, I think in 4 years, the total that Sammy has received is something like $1,200. This is not a big channel. It never has been a big channel. So those people out there talking about donations, this, that, and the other, they're gifts of love. And I was not going to accept them. But I started because Sammy came along and I was not expecting him. And everybody wanted to help with him. It's been happening for years. It's just when you wake up, you start to put the pieces together. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is not the first time. I've spoke at great lengths about Typhoid Mary, how they quarantined her because she was not getting sick and they blamed things on her, said that she was a carrier. She wasn't getting sick because it wasn't real. These things aren't. In Scripture, it says that illness and death come from sin. What is sin? Sin is something, and they tell you your body has nothing to do with this. Like, you're going to get a new body, so it doesn't matter. You're going to get a new earth, so this one doesn't matter. If you think that's what this means, you've got to start over. Your foundation is on sand. I know because I had a foundation on sand, and I had to rebuild it all by myself, stone by stone, with the help of God, of course. But I mean by myself as in without a partner, without a friend, no fellowship. They will tell us we were wrong, so we have to go another way. I don't have to go any other way. I will go. I march to the beat of my own drummer, and I'm not trying to offend you. I'm very passionate about this. I was meant to do this. This is what I was meant to do. It's to stand firm, not to be popular, not to fit in, not to be a part of the crowd, not to be a leader. I'm the last person who should lead anybody. But I'm meant to do this, to stand firm and to speak truth. And for anyone who's out there to listen, God bless you. Thank you for being here. Because I listen to the Holy Spirit and the information that the Holy Spirit gives me. Now you might say, well, we can get this information ourselves. Yes, you can. Please pray, meditate. Well, there's other information out there on other channels that are bigger. And they have more credibility because they're bigger. And that's no. That's not true. You can believe that if you want to, but it's not true. We've got to stop giving these people our money. Even the YouTubers are in the club. Now, I'm not going to say if it's Freemasons because I don't know. I know that in this time, evil is being called good and good is being called evil. So it's very possible, again, that the Freemasons started out as a legitimate organization. And yes, I've watched Brad Meltzer's stuff. If they put it right on TV, guys, there's a reason for it. It's not just disclosure. They wanted us to hate our own nation. They wanted us to tear it apart ourselves with our own hands so they don't have to lift a finger. And we are doing a mighty fine job at that. While this other stuff is going on behind the scenes, what you're looking at is a beautiful diagram of our beautiful nation. Once you start to see that numbers play a part in this, there are numbers in this natural algorithm that God puts out there, right? And these people, they don't always pick the numbers. These numbers just gravitate towards these people. This has everything to do with powers and principalities, and we're going to use this map to learn about that. Not in this video. I'm getting to a place. Please be patient. I thank you again for being here. But I'm very passionate about this. My dad, and I feel my dad went through this. I watched my husband go through this. And I'm going through it, and so far, I'm the only one. My mom went through it. I watched my mom get beat by the woman whose house she left me at for a year and a half. My step-grandma. Like, I've watched all these things happen over and over. She didn't like my mom's hair. They came in after drinking one night, allegedly had a good time, and she banged my mom's head off a couple of cupboards and cut her beautiful hair off. So a lot of people a lot of women shave their heads at the beginning of all this. I've shared some of their videos. I was one of them. This is a spirit taking hold of people. This stuff does not happen on its own. Out of all the people I've seen this targeting happen to, and now I know what it is, and people are going to say, well, what is it? And I'm going to tell you. You say you believe in God, but you deny his power. This is not all technology. This is some part God waking people up. He's trying to wake up your conscience. And for me, it was targeting. I had to see that there was true darkness and wickedness out there for me to remember God again. Because I'd been raised with God. I'd been raised with reverence in my life. But then I was introduced to the occult. But I wasn't shown the ugliest side. What is really hidden under the hidden. All right? And that's what we're talking about today. Not the shallow, superficial. We're not even talking about what's hidden. We're talking about what's hidden underneath of the hidden. The things that they don't want coming out. This is why I'm targeted. This is why I might lose my life. And they'll say, oh, you're just being dramatic. They will have to make it look like I did it myself. I have no desire to harm myself or anyone else. This is my job. This is my purpose. This is my mission. They'll say, well, you had one of them fake abduction experiences. All those people think they have a mission. Gee, I wonder why that's happening. Could it be that it's in part legitimate? You remember there's a counterfeit kingdom. Everything God does, he is going to copy and say it's his. You have to dig. There are aliens that come from the sky, but those will be God's angels. The wicked ones will come from the lakes, the man-made lakes. Let's be very clear about that. Man-made lakes in the ocean, the seas. That is the abyss. It is cold in Hades. It is not hot. God is a refining fire. The lake of fire is refinement. Why do you think they show Antarctica all the time? Because hell is cold. It is freezing. There is no warmth because there is no light. There is no warmth because there is no love. All right, let's get to it. Thank you for being here. I lost a couple, but that's okay. So what you're looking at is our beautiful nation. And sometimes people will say, and this is where we got to be, again, we got to dig below the below. Okay? I know that sounds weird, and it should kind of scare you a bit. They will say that these beings are not organized enough to constantly assign the number 33 to things. I would argue that's false. Powers and principalities. God is orderly. So is his hierarchy. And these powers and principalities are a part of God's hierarchy, even though they've went rogue. They're still under the kingdom. Why? Because we are all made by God, even if by proxy there is a part or a spark of God in every being. I believe that. Now the Nephilim we will talk about when I get back to that board game. Whether there's salvation for them or not, I actually have a theory about that. So do they always pick the numbers? Well, when it's a planned out event, they do. So let's check this out. This is the United States. Portland, Fort Hood. If you look up Fort Hood, there's a lot of nastiness going on there. Sorry, Portland, Mount Hood. I wanted to talk about Fort Hood first, though. A lot of nastiness going on there. Trafficking. Women are not safe at this time. I don't care how independent you think you are. I don't care what generation it is, but I will tell you this. We are the stronger of the two. I don't care how big a man is. A woman is wisdom. Wisdom is a female quality and attribute. Okay? Much like males are giving the attribute to, usually, to be providers and protectors. Women are strong. We have to be. We bring life into this world. And because of sin, that is made painful, even though it is a beautiful thing. You have people want to making this the opposite. They want you to say this place is wicked. Why do they want you to do that? Because they want you to hurt God's heart. If God is all full of wrath, why would they want you to hurt God? Ask yourself that. If your maker is ambivalent to your existence, if your maker is more of an agnostic type of being and knows you're here but pays no mind to you, why would they want you to hurt it so badly? Why do they want you to hurt God so badly? Why do they want to hurt God so badly? So these things like this, planned out events, these locations and numbers, I believe these are planned. People talk about depopulation. Again, this is disclosure. They have to disclose certain things to you. They tell you this in the system. You should know this. Anything from the system is a copy or a counterfeit of God's kingdom above. This is why we have terms and agreements down here. Remember, I did a video about Joan, that show on Netflix, the episode from Black Mirror, that is like my life, which is ridiculous. And I did not ever consent to any such thing. And no, the actual episode isn't like it is kind of things I've done. And even the hair was like mine. Anyways, let's not get into that because it really freaks me out. I'm very uncomfortable at this point in time by how many synchronicities are occurring in my life. I think or I pray about something and then it's a video. So if these are real people, how is that happening? If these are real people making real videos and taking the time to film them, edit them, and upload them, how is it that every time I think of a concept, it is then a video? Are we connected to the devices? Are we super telepathic and psychic? And it's just now getting clicked back on? Again, as usual, I think it's a combination of these things. And I think they're wanting to hide God. They're wanting to hide the kingdom of God. They're wanting to hide your natural gifts, talents, and attributes so that you have no power. They do not want you to fight back, spiritually speaking, because you will win. You'll win. It's that simple. All you have to do is reclaim your free will and start praying with me. Anyone who wants to do an experiment, anyone who's willing to experiment with their reality for the sake of their family and small community, please let me know, because we will do a special video. And maybe we'll do a collab. Maybe I'll do a video with somebody who's watching, just to give examples of situational experiences so you can understand how to wield your consent and your tongue for the sword that it is. All these people saying Jesus is coming back with a sword. These men are so focused on violence and bloodshed, I don't even know what to do about it anymore. The Old Testament is carnal because we were babes, okay? The Old Testament speaks to the carnality of man, and that sometimes maybe I'd collaborate with you whenever. Davis and his... Okay, that's a possibility, because I could learn from you, and maybe you could learn from me, although I think we have theological differences. That's okay, because again, I'm open to certain things. Okay, so where was I going with that? I told you this was happening. I told you it was going to happen. And now they're showing it in the news. Why would they show you it in the news? Why do they want you to know? They don't want us to know. None of the media is for the plebs, the normies. None of it. Those stories with their numbers and their little, like, are you noticing right now how many, like, of these links and news stories are just weird? They don't make sense. There's strange things in them. Now you're seeing the celebs with the crossed eyes. You had Justin Bieber. His eyes went all crossed. What's the other guy? Chris Rock? Is it Chris Rock? That's the wrong name. That's the wrong name. Is it the right name? I don't know. You had his eyes all funky, and they're like, oh, it's the V. Oh, it's the V. That's so funny. I've had issues with my eyes, too. It is something they are doing to people like us. You don't have to be a Christian. Independent thinker. People speaking out. I've had a steady headache around my eyes for the last 2 weeks. Something is not right. Like, something is going on still. Blinding was a big part of a spell they tried to run on me in the beginning. They even used a picture of me that had been taken Before I went to court, when I was abused and I had lost like 20 pounds, I had a head injury. My aunt wanted to take a picture. I couldn't figure out why she needed a picture. Well, just in case they ever need it for your records. Sure. So a channel suddenly pops up a couple years later, and their picture is a picture of my eyes and nose. Like I don't know my own face. And they put it right in my feed so I would see it. And they talked about being on disability and how they were blind. I don't know why they want to do this so badly to people, but they do. You see the people wearing the dark eyeglasses right now? They know we can see. That's the problem. They don't want us seeing what's happening. So they are fighting us carnally. The Old Testament is about carnality. The New Testament is about spirituality. Your body does have a lot to do with spirituality, though. If you put the wrong things into your body, you will be at a lower frequency. Why do you think they call us useless eaters? Doesn't everybody eat? What was the first sin? What did Eve do? What did she do? She ate. She ate. Kind of like when you sit down to have grace, right? Or let's imagine this in the movies. Perfect Family from the 50s, right? Maybe there's 5 to 7 seats. You've got one at the head, one at the end, mom and dad, right? If you touched your food before grace was said, you would get your hand slapped. If you ate before dad said the blessing. The first sin was eating. Maybe a couple light bulbs, I hope. I don't want to offend anybody, because if I offend you purposely and intentionally, you're going to get mad and have a knee-jerk reaction. You're going to leave the channel and never come back. Why does that matter to me if it's such a small channel and I make no money doing this? Maybe because I actually care about you. They put these news stories out not for us. It's not for the public. It's so they can say, look, this is happening. I did my part. I did my part, man. So what happens if this guy, allegedly he goes to jail, right? We never see him again. Maybe we forget his face. Most of us don't know him. Maybe the people they picked to be vigilantes don't really have a family. Maybe they do things like stealth camping, guys, you think? How do you think they catch people unawares, especially homeless people that are probably pretty used to watching their own backs? Silently at IMRS. I don't know what IMRS is. I'm sorry. You don't have to say it silently. You can say it aloud. But I was trying to prove a point and give you guys a visual. Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. She was specifically told not to. Not because knowledge is bad. Maybe because she ate before God blessed it. And that opened her up to being cursed. We need to start looking deeper and thinking about these things. We need to stop being babes. Always approach God as a child. We are all still children, and we are always be his children, just like my child will always be my child, even though he's not a baby or a child. You know, the men these days, especially in this area, and I really use that term reluctantly because they're not men. If you're screaming at a woman who is not even half your size as you're walking down the road with 2 giant dogs, you might have a problem. If you don't want to be seen with your wife or your spouse, there might be a problem. If your spouse is disappearing, or they're changing, or you're noticing more black clothes in their wardrobe, you might have a problem. If your spouse is going out stealth camping and advertising it on YouTube, and they make money doing that, and wow, that's their job, and they happen to be ex-military, you might have a problem. We're giving these people money as they're going out there and committing acts of depopulation. You don't believe me? I think it was the Zodiac killer, right? Who wrote letters. He wanted the publicity. You see, they can't help but gloat. They can't help it. They can't help themselves. The biggest one out there is a millionaire. He's on the Forbes list. His wife died and he couldn't be torn from making videos and traveling. Yeah, and I'll probably lose a lot of people there because, oh, but we like him. He's our hero. Is he really? Why is he stealth camping? Ask him that. Oh, but I give money to the homeless. Yeah, they have to look good. It's not real. It's an image. None of it is real. They're trying to lure people out there. They want you alone, away from your family, where you're vulnerable. So some of you say, my family changed. They don't want me anymore. They're rejecting me. Yeah, they want you to leave. They want you to leave. But see, they have to obey certain laws. And this is where I realize that targeting, this isn't just a superficial problem we have in society. This is a spiritual thing. These people are spiritually taken over at this point. I don't care what anyone says. I really don't. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You can call me crazy. Because here's the thing. Let's track this. If your spouse, who had a history in technology, who had to teach you how to use Word, right? Who taught you how to use double monitors for school to make your schooling easier. If your spouse, who did all these things, suddenly tells you, there's something wrong with our computers, I think your so-called friend who was here messed with things, I'm getting strange messages, you're getting strange messages, are these yours? No. Okay, your Google Maps is saying that you were at a spa. Were you at a spa? No. Your Google Maps is saying you were at a storage warehouse. Were you at a storage warehouse? No. Asian spa and storage warehouse. What do those two things have in common? A storage warehouse would be a handy little spot to store people. Funny how we're seeing people who couldn't have babies, suddenly they're having babies. I remember about a year ago, there were a bunch of people saying, oh, we saved orphans in Mexico. Oh, where'd they go? What'd you do with them then? And then you read about our heroes saving people from being trafficked. We brought them across American lines. They're safe now. You just helped traffic them out of their own country. Why are we not, why? I don't understand why people can't see these things. I really don't now. I feel like I walked through the looking glass and I'm on the other side. I call my sick dog, the one who's dying now, the one who I've had since before all this began. When I call him, he goes the other way. I will call him, and he will walk in the other direction. He will walk into a wall, and he will keep walking. Everything here for me is the opposite, and I just want to go home now. You think you're fun, and they think this is funny. They're entertained by this. I have to deal with people sneaking and peeking in doorways now, and they think I don't hear them. In the past, I had fainting issues before all this began, when I was still working and stuff, and I know what brings it on now, so I'm very careful about it, but I faint. It's something I do when some emotion really, I just faint. It just happens. And, somebody, a loved one, was there and picked me up and threw me on the bed like I was a sack of potatoes. Another time it happened here almost. And the person walked away and it was like a trickster. It was a whole different attitude. Oh, she'll be all right, boys. Mommy's just sleeping. Hee 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 hee. This is a almost 50-year-old individual. Peeking through doors, grinning, with a real creepy, I don't know, man. This is the stuff I'm dealing with. But, if I go to a priest, then they're going to tell me I have a mental problem because I think there's some spirit, demonic element, frequency, demonic essence surrounding my family. It'll be me. It'll all be, oh, you've got a mental issue. It has to stop. I don't know what to say anymore. So, I warned that this was coming. I told you it was coming. But it's not just this guy. This is happening everywhere. It happened in Vegas. It happened in LA. What about all the times you're not hearing about? It's happened here, right down the road in the ghetto I used to live in. Gee, I wonder why I remember this. Huh. I think her name was Brittany. Hold, please. I'm trying to find this. Oh, you know what else is neat? I told you guys how Florida was a thing for me. Funny how when I mentioned West Virginia would be a cool school to go to and a nice state to move to, I took a picture. I still have it. I showed you guys in the community tab. 2 days later after I did this video, 2 people moved in next door. They were waving a West Virginia flag. Really nice couple, though. They always delivered their mail here. There was a piece of mail that was from the UK, from England. And you guys know how I feel that one of those people is in the running for the AC as far as I'm concerned. Might very well be the AC. I don't know yet. It's still fuzzy. I wish I knew, because I think that's the last part of my job. And my head hurts all the time now. I don't know if I was fooled into thinking that I have a mission or a purpose, or if it was truly God. I'd like to say that it was God, but just for those people who say maybe it wasn't God, maybe it wasn't God. But you know what? I have nothing better to do anyways. There was a homeless couple that was murdered down the road where I used to live in this town of Warren. It's kind of a ghetto. Give me the year 2018 or 20... I think it was 2018. I think her name was Brittany, but I don't remember. There we go. Found a woman lying in the road of the city's southwest side Sunday morning who was murdered. 4th homicide of 2018. The people who live near where 28-year-old Brittany May was found said it's scary. Brittany was a quiet person. She loved her kids. She loved life. It was near Raiders Path by the intersection of Front Street. Sunday morning, they spotted her lying in the road. She was shot multiple times. Where she was killed is part of the investigation, but as of right now, it appears as though the shooting happened in the same area she was found, non-residential area. I do believe it was by a business, though, if this is the same one that I'm thinking of. What do you think of that? Is that a joke? If somebody comes home, you ask them how their day was, and they come home talking about, it was all right. You know, same old, killing homeless people. If somebody says something like that, do you think that's a funny joke? Is that a funny joke? Should I be entertained by that? You know, since we don't have any authority figures in this area who are not corrupt, or at least none that I know of, or I can't reach any with my play school phone here that I have, meaning it's monitored, it's parental controlled, whatever's going on with it. Who knows who I actually reach? It's all a big joke. They think it's funny. All of it. So, there's a lot of this down there in this area. But yeah, if somebody comes home from work, from a tough day at work, and you ask them how their day went, you know, just killing homeless people. Do you think that's funny? Should I have been entertained at that time by this? Because look what's happening now. I mean, you tell me, is it funny? Or is it funny because they're homeless houseless, and so then they don't matter. Yeah, I'm mad. I do not promote violence. I am a pacifist. I have no desire to harm myself or anyone else. I would not live in a residence that had a gun in it. My spouse, alleged spouse, is not supposed to have them because of his history with me. Who knows about the rest of his history? I believe it was expunged. I didn't know anything when I moved here, and my mother should have never let it happen. They knew this was all coming, and this is the place that we live. Every dot on this star is where a murder happened. Davisonism says, "Are you crying? It's okay. Don't get worked up." I always cry. It's what I do. Two things can be true at once. You can have a mission from God and also seek help from your community. You may be surprised by how many helpful people are out there. I've tried my community. It's not funny, but we try not to get offended by stupid stuff. There's a lot of stupid stuff in the world. Absolutely. Are you calling killing people stupid, though? Because I don't think that's a stupid reason to be upset. They're human beings. Like that. That's why I don't like texting, because I never know what somebody's referring to. I'm sorry. So every dot that you see here is where there was an attack. The VA Tech massacre, DC Sniper, TWA 800, JFK, St. John's, Nawat, evil and Egyptian, that's different. Portland, Mount Hood, Columbine. Somebody else did us a favor and showed us that. Now, again, it really only counts. A pentagram and a pentacle are two different things, but I'm not going to get into that now for all intents and purposes. You see what's going on here. All right, we're going to segue, and this is going to be a very strange segue. Why was I talking about that first? Excuse me. I have to show you something. Please forgive me for doxing myself here if I do for a moment. But I want to show you something, and it is important that I show you this. And you're going to say, what does this have to do with anything? Why are you showing us this? Many headlines on some of these local news on YouTube are disturbing, as far as someone saying that is disturbing too about homelessness. It's not just on YouTube. I mean, all over. Go to Reddit. Go see how that younger generation is talking. And you guys might think, well, it doesn't matter. It's not me. You're not a Christian then. Don't you dare call yourself a Christ follower and say it doesn't matter because it's not me. What is the worst evil? To work evil or to know that it's happening and do nothing? At least I'm trying to do something. I was looking for a winter coat. I haven't bought one since that pivotal year of 2018. And I'm thrifty. I'm a cheap person, especially on myself. I try to be these days anyways. Everything I buy is usually used. I don't usually buy new things. But I needed a coat really bad. And as I'm researching coats, because yes, when I tell you I research everything, I'm not kidding. I've been looking at laptops for probably 3 or 4 days now, and my eyes, like, I've had enough. I can't. If I learn anything else about more these modern processors and RAM and CPU and all of it, I'm overloaded. I was looking at coats. And I said, oh, there's my favorite color. Let me click on this. You see the name of the coat? And this is, we're going to do a whole episode or a whole stream. And we're just going to search for certain words. We're going to do a keyword search again. And I'm going to show you how wild some of the names, like some of the computers now, laptops they're calling omens, which I'm sure you know. But notice the words they're using. One of them's called a yoga. One of the versions of one of the laptops is also called a yoga. This is with intent. They know what they're doing. Gordy Rose told us a few years ago. He said, we have summoned the demon. But they pretty much could care less about us, so be very careful. He warned us. So we can't say we aren't warned. This is why the Mormons, when they talk about that second anointing, this is why Lori Daybell in that one phone conversation, she said, I can't say anything to you because the more I tell you, the more you are then responsible for. She wanted to do that person a favor. There's a reason that I stopped tossing pearls to swine in my own family. It's not that I don't want them to hear the full gospel. It's that they don't want to hear it. And so not only is it a waste of my time and their time, it also could do more harm than good. You can only wake a sleepwalker when they're ready to be awoken. If you do it prematurely, that could end up badly. And it doesn't mean just people who are actually sleeping. I believe it's also talking about this kind of sleep that you're seeing today, where people are kind of zombified. So this is how I operate, and I wanted to show you this. And yes, I'm walking around doing things because my dog is having an issue, and I got to check on him every now and again to make sure he is okay. So this is me walking around. I'm not a big YouTuber, I'm sorry. So as I'm looking for coats, this word come up, helium. And I said, oh man, I forgot to do that research on helium, and I knew God was pushing me to do it. Why did God want me to research helium? And why am I telling you how my process works? 1, to build trust. 2, so that you can start to open your eyes in maybe a similar way. And you'll then, because all it takes is for like one thing to happen and click in your brain. And after that, you never see things the same again. It doesn't matter how badly you try to go back. But it's not because I want to do you harm. It is because I want you to know the life that you're living, and I want you to operate appropriately within those boundaries so that you have the abundance that your Creator wants for you. That's the problem, is that these beings are taking away the abundant life and the inheritance that is just naturally ours. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to do anything for it. It's a gift bestowed upon us by our parents. So I saw this and I said, oh man, I forgot to do that research. So here we go. Let's check into helium. But why did God want me to look at helium, of all things? I am not the physics girl. I don't do science videos because I don't always know what I'm talking about. So we're going to look at the element of helium, but why? I want to know, let's look at the element first, right? Let's just look at our chart. Oh, wait, I found something you guys will really like. This is an awesome site, and I found it completely by accident. Are you still? Okay, he's sleeping. I think he's sleeping for now. He's been having some rough nights, and it's been a trial. This is selenium, and I got there through this search, and again, I only did it for a few minutes, and I was like, well, I might as well bring everybody in on this because it's going to be a thing. So we're going to do this right. We'll go in order, and I just want to bring up the page on helium, and I will share this website because I just like the way it's organized, and it's called, and again, this is how I follow things. I followed the coat because that was God's way of shaking me up and saying, hey, quit scrolling looking at coats. Go do your research, little girl, like you're supposed to do. Hi, Jen. Hey, how are you? I didn't do a stream yesterday, so you're here. You're right where you need to be. So this is called the Royal Society of Chemistry. And you know how I feel about royalty these days. That has a lot to do with my testimony as well. I hope you're doing well, Michelle. It's nice to have you here as always. Helium, the discovery date, 1895 by Sir William Ramsay in London, independently by Per Theodor Cleve and Nils Abraham Langlet in Uppsala, Sweden. The name is derived from the Greek helios, meaning sun. Helios meaning sun. As it was in the sun's corona, that helium was first detected. Let me read that again. Helium was first detected in the sun's corona. Hint, hint. Okay? This is how you defragment their stories and the information that they give you. And again, I know you're going to say, this, I don't understand the process. Well, then maybe you're a different kind of learner, and I'll try something in the next video for you. Uses and properties. It tells us Also in the fact book above, it'll give you the atomic number, the block, the period, the group, the melting point, boiling point, all that stuff, okay? Key isotopes. On the periodic table of elements, I don't want to say symbol because it's not a symbol, but it is derived as 4He, okay? So, the image of the sun, because helium gets its name from helios, the Greek word for sun. Helium was detected by the spectral lines of the sun many years before it was found on Earth. That's weird. Colorless, odorless gas, which we knew. Why am I doing helium? You're going to say, what is this? What's going on, Jen? Let me make sure you don't leave the video just yet. Again, God shows me things in my personal life that have a bigger meaning, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. So at this job that I had for about 3 months, and I know you're all probably disappointed I don't have it any longer, and I will go over that if you want, for those of you who missed it. At this job, we ran out of helium several times. It's kind of a big thing at this small town local store. And we ran out of it. And then we were the only ones who had it. And it happened more than once. And I got that ringing in the ear that says, hey, pay attention, pay attention. Cure and heals. Heal I am. Exactly. Exactly. The sun's rays heal us. And that is true. It is not damaging to us. Everything that they tell us is inverted. They tell you the sun damages you, so put this sunscreen on that is loaded with parabens, which are a known carcinogen, which is why they are banned in the UK and Italy. But they're allowed in the US. High fructose sugar, allowed in the US, banned everywhere else. We have to understand what time we are and where we are. America is like the experimental nation, okay? They probably rename it all the time. They probably repopulate it all the time. And people who tell the truth about what actually happened are on the chopping block. Literally. You don't have to believe me. But I have to speak about this. I don't have a choice. I do have a choice, but I don't. I want to do God's will from now on. And God's will is that you all be warned. And it's not to say, hey, if you're homeless, go steal a home. No, that's not what this means. This means be aware of your surroundings. Be observant of the people around you. They are going to be very nice. Of course they're going to be nice to you. They want something from you. They want your life. Of course they're going to be nice on the surface. Of course they're going to be kind. These are the same people that want tolerance for themselves, but they want everybody else to be committed because they have religious beliefs. That's the goal, is to either commit a bunch of people or end them. But it has to be done in a certain way. So God said, pay attention to this. This is important. Why does helium matter? Why did God want me to look at helium? I'll show you. You don't think I talk to God? You don't think he tells me the truth? What does helium got to do with CERN? Investigations at CERN following a large helium leak into Sector 3-4 of the large LHC tunnel have confirmed that cause of the incident was a faulty electrical connection between two of the accelerator's magnets. You see, helium is used in cryogenics. Cryogenics does not just mean the freezing of people, okay? Hold, please. Okay. Which one did I want to show you guys? We'll just stay here and we'll go here. Right to CERN's homepage and see what they got to... Are you serious? They're on like my... See, you want to mess with me. Hate you. I don't hate you. Be nice to me, please. Let's do this. Oh, I know where it's at. I had a document and it's... I don't know if I want to pull it up. Okay. Sorry about the typos. Helium is used magnets so that they become superconducting. The LHC will use superfluid helium at the lower temperature of 1.8 to improve the performance of the magnets. These qualities make helium an excellent refrigerant for cooling and stabilizing the LHC's large-scale superconducting systems. Well, let's do this then. Why are local places where I live in Ohio running out of helium? How much helium does Stern use? 120 tons. The LHC's main magnets operate at a temperature of 1.9 K, that's negative 271.3 C, colder than the 2.7 K of the outer space, which is outer darkness. The LHC's cryogenic system requires 40,000 leak-tight pipe seals, 40 MW of electricity. MW. What's MW? 10 times more than is needed to power a locomotive, and 120 tons of helium to keep the magnets at that temperature. That's a lot of helium. So let's see, how much energy does CERN use? So these are the same people telling us not to wash your clothes in hot water, not to take hot water showers, to use less electricity, to buy all of our appliances that have energy saver stickers on them, right? These same people tell us we fly too much, we use too much gas. Why do you suppose all that's happening? So, CERN uses helium, and we ran out of helium here. Now, I'm gonna risk doxing myself. I gotta pull up a file for you guys to show you, but this might be it right here. So I'm gonna pull. Yep, it is it. There's the diagram. I just want to see it. Just show it to me. Why is one of the options not to just open the one you have? All right, there we go. I'm really considering getting a laptop, guys, but what I learned about, what makes the screens, I'm a little reluctant. I didn't know Stern used that much helium. I thought, yeah, NASA used the most. Yeah, it is interesting, and I want to show you a couple things here. Now, this was written August 2017, probably around the time of my first dream. Helium inventory management for LHC cryogenics. Okay, so let's take a look. I want to look at this graph with you. Sam, sit down. He tries to sit on my lap. You can't. You're like 100 pounds, dude. Please, you're killing mommy. There you go. Sit beside mommy. That's my boy. He had his walk, and he had peanut butter. Oh, my gosh. He's a good boy. Say hi. Don't lick the phone. Okay. Okay, stop. Yeah, gross. Dog breath. Gross. Sorry, guys. This is so not professional today. But I promise I'll get better at that. It's been a strange couple of days, spiritually speaking. So that's how God works with me. He knew that I had to look into this. Now, why? I don't really know. But this graph is really cool because it shows you. Now, we already know where it freezes at. Don't try to read this. I'll read it to you. It says right here, these magnets are used to control the trajectory of beams of protons, okay, traveling in opposite directions and collide them at various experimental sites across the LHC where their debris is analyzed. The focus of this paper is the cryogenic system that allows the magnets to operate in their superconducting state. It aims to highlight the operating principles of helium refrigeration and liquefaction. Now, here's the thing. You got people all over saying, YouTubers don't know what they're talking about. They're conspiracy theorists. They're talking about, aliens and demons and CERN and Dan Brown and all this, that, and the other. This is why we approach things scientifically and analytically first. We use science and logic and, observation, okay? Then we dig into the spirit. There's a reason you work from that superficial inward. Some people might be able to work from the inward outward. I've never been able to do that. I got to work on my superficial issues, and it helps me to dig in, just like covering my hair, for example, when I pray. That alone is a reminder to me When I feel my ears covered, it reminds me to be more reverent. It reminds me to not be as loud with my voice and things. And I don't know why it works that way. It just does. Just like putting a pair of glasses and helping you see better, you're not just able to see better, but you enjoy life better. You got to dig in deep and find out what is actually happening. So it's very possible that CERN, which is the location, CERN's not the actual machine. The machine is an LHC, okay? There are several LHCs in the United States. Know that, okay? And we'll look at what days those were turned on here to see if maybe they're affecting us. I have a theory that they're doing something else, that these machines do something else than what they're just being presented as. And I don't mean just messing with light beams. And like I said in the last video, the light beams and the protons and the ions, the way that they're speaking is basically they're trying to harvest, maybe not harvest, but trying to, what is the word I'm looking for? Capture the light, which is from angels. Okay, if you're looking at it from that way, angelic, higher frequency beings, and darker, lower frequency beings as well. Are they actual beings, or are they just balls of essence of energy? Well, what are you? Are you just a ball of energy, or are you a being? It's semantics. It means the same thing. And that's what we got to be careful of. But I do believe it's doing something other than what it's talking about, which is why we need to know the words that they're using and what they mean. All right, so I'm going to go wide on this chart in just a second. This chart basically shows you when things were on and when they were off, okay? With and without nitrogen pre-cooling is what's examined here. So they do both. Various refrigerators and liquefiers used at CERN for both the LHC and non-LHC applications, with their liquefaction capacities and purposes, and finally to deliberate the management of the LHC inventory and how it contributes to the strategic decision CERN makes regarding the inventory like when it shuts down. So when you look at this chart, you're looking at year-end technical stop, okay, or an extended year-end technical stop. What I want to see, though, is an unscheduled one. I want to see when this was turned off for something other than maintenance. I'm saying, and we're going to look at that, and that's where cats come in. And I've told you my feelings on cats. And again, this will be a nice segue, the next couple of videos, into the Egyptian Babylonianism and what we're looking at happening in the world today and what that has to do with the eclipse, reincarnation, and the changes that we're seeing in people. But again, we have to have kind of a science or physics background, at least, when talking about some of these things, so we don't talk like, it's not good to talk about things you don't know about, right? I can talk about spirit all day, but I need to know what these mean. So it shows you scheduled maintenance periods are in blue, and the LHC green is when it's running. So it was turned on, right? Now let's look. Well, it doesn't go before 2015. Of course it doesn't. My mom died in January 2015. And that's kind of when I started going downhill was, no, not January, I'm sorry. She died in December of 2015. Yeah, and that's when my life just went. But we'll look at this. 2017. It was turned back on in May. So it was on all summer. And then September and October in 2017. Now, 2018, when did I go to Florida? It was the end of April when that spiral was caught in the sky. And I've already did videos on this. I've already showed the links for that. The same time, I'm sorry for your loss. It's hard. She's very hard to love, but I do love her a lot. And now, of course, now looking back, I see why some of the things were the way they were. Excuse me. In 2018, if you look, there was a spiral caught in the sky in Florida. Same time I was down there, but I didn't know this was happening when I was there. I was pretty much just there. I don't know why I was there, okay? The premise was I was there to help with a couple of children. But not only was a spiral captured on the sky, but they also, for whatever reason, the water started turning red at their beaches down on the Florida coast. So you could say, you know, I don't know what you want to call that, but the Bible speaks of it and says water turns to blood. So of course it's hard for me not to take this into account in my personal testimony too, because these things surround my personal testimony. And I was rebaptized, oh God, August of 20. Hold. I was baptized in Erie in 2017. And then I was rebaptized in the summer of 2019. Now, LS2, what does that mean? Let's take a look. Are you going to... Now, they told us what YETS is year-end scheduled maintenance. EYTS is extended year-end maintenance. But what is... Hold please. LS or L52, what is that? I'm trying to find that in the article. Or the link, rather. I don't know why that's there. Okay, so this will tell you how and why they are using helium. Helium is used to cool down a warm mass, absorbing its energy, and then is recycled into the system to be reliquefied. So are they using this for the D-Wave computer too? Because they said that has to be super cold. Is there a mini LHC in... Okay, so somebody remind me of that. Then we need to look at the cat first, and then... What was I thinking? Oh, gosh, come on. See, there's too many things. All right, we'll do the cat. All right, now this is what I searched next. Was Churn ever shut down? Now look what it puts there. I didn't put that. Why is it putting there? Was the LHC at CERN ever shut down for serving cat? Serving cat. Now, every word means a million things here, but what does that mean, serving? How do you serve a cat? I've told you people who have cats lately, not all of them. Again, I'm not making blanket statements, okay? Some people that I've observed who have cats behave in the same ways. They have kind of a hive mentality, all their own happening. And we're going to get into that. That'll be probably a short video, or I'll do it quick here. So what's it going to tell us about this? Was CERN ever shut off? It says for improvements, maintenance, consolidation, and upgrade work, it was shut down for 3 years. SPS began beam commissioning. I don't even want to know what that means yet. The French electricity supplier EDF asked CERN to save electricity. This should significantly relieve the power system to France. This was in November 29th, 2022. Yeah, really, like, why are they complaining to us regular citizens when they're doing things like this? Here we go. They had a large helium leak into Sector 3-4, the LHC tunnel. The cause of the incident was a faulty electrical connection between 2 of the magnets. Okay, now where's the cat thing? Because, again, I didn't type that in, and I was like, why are they asking me about a cat? What does that mean? My mom, more than 2 decades ago, I still feel her speaking through me. All good, the advice comes back. Yeah, there's a lot of double entendres there I'm not even going to touch right now. Is your name Khaki? Is it Suzanne Khaki? The same sound in Jackie but khaki? Or is it Casey? Okay, so anyways, I was typing that in, and it said, was it ever shut down for serving a cat? Now, again, I don't know what it means or why it phrased it that way, but we're going to do it. There we go. Did the LHC destroy the world yet? April 30th, 2016. CERN's LHC, atom smashing machine, may have met its match, a tiny animal. The LHC was shut down this week after a marten made its way. A marten? Is that a kind of cat? Made its way inside and damaged a transformer, although early reports had suggested the animal was a weasel, probably. CERN had released a document laying the blame on a fowl. Sadly, as NPR reports, the saboteur didn't make it. Oh, they killed it or it died? Like chicken cacciatore, as the catchy sound. Gotcha. So is it catchy then? Or Casey? Catch it. So it's catchy. Catchy. Susan Catchy. I like that. Sorry. So it was shut down for a weasel or a cat. Let's go to this article and see if it gives us a little more information. Yesterday, the LHC is designed to smash high energy particles. I don't really want to go to CNN just because I don't like them. By an unauthorized weasel entry. Spokesperson Armand Marcellier says the world's largest atom smasher, the LHC, outside of Geneva, had suspended operations because a weasel invaded a transformer that helps power the machine. How did it do that? Authorities say the incident was one of several small glitches that will delay plans to restart the collider by a few days. My God, she looks like my new dog. Not my dog, his dog. Okay, so that's weird. How did that even happen? Catchy. Oh, that's funny. Scientists restart LHC in quest for dark matter after a 3-year hiatus. So are they including that cat thing in with that? When did that happen? 2016. So let's go to our graph. April 29th, 2016. They're saying it was shut down because of a cat. But if you look at this graph of a paper by somebody who works at CERN, they're saying that it was on this whole time. From March until November. So how on earth was it shut down at this time, April 29th, 2016? Maybe because, like I said, these stories aren't legitimate. They are messaging each other. This does a lot of things. Number one, it eliminates them going back and covering their tracks. They have no electronic paper trail. They leave no paper trail that they know each other, that they speak. These people pretend to beef. They pretend to hate each other. They may even have public spats and falling outs just so people really believe that they're enemies, so that behind the scenes they can work true wickedness and deviousness and heinousness and unrighteousness to the nth degree, because they are helping each other. And now they have nothing to delete. You see what I mean? They don't have to worry about hiring somebody to go back and rewrite history because they left no trail of themselves communicating with each other. This is why nobody can figure out what happened during the Spanish flu epidemic of 1912. If you look, they had the downfall of the stock exchange. The stock market went black. The Depression, all this stuff happened right before the Spanish flu, and then you have a significant drop in the population. There is not going to be disclosure, guys. This is disclosure. We are living in it. They tell us everything. Everybody's so enamored with the toys they have. You'll leave this video and you won't think of the homeless person beside you in the parking garage near where you work. You'll forget all about them. Why do we do this? Why do we have memories like that? Why don't we take better care of one another? I don't know why. I really don't anymore. This place is not for me. I'm not like anybody. I don't understand why this is going on. Why are more people not upset? Why are more people not praying? I simply tried to get a day of prayer, even just call it meditation. I don't care what it is. Let's focus on the same good thing for one day and see if it brings real change. Nobody wants to do it. Are we that self-centered that you can't spend 15 minutes on a specified day to sit and think about good outcomes of these wars, good outcomes for our children? Why can we not do something that simple? I will post about this in the community tab if you want to do something like this, because scripture says where 2 or more are gathered, there he will be. Ask anything in my name and my Father will give it to you. Only believe it to be so. That's the recipe right there. That is the recipe for life. Love above all things, do all things from love. If you need a thing, ask for it from above. Believe you'll receive it and you will. Can we not spend 15 minutes one day of the week? Just one day and try it and see if it works? And if not, I want to know why. What is your reason for no? No, I won't give 15 minutes of my time to the earth where I live, where my children live, where my grandchildren live, where children live, where the animals I love live. If we say we love these animals, we say we love these children, why can't we do something as simple and uplifting as a prayer? Why is that so difficult? I don't want to do this anymore. Nobody's listening. And I don't want to be in this place anymore. I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't want to be gaslighted anymore. I don't want to be lied to anymore. I don't want to be abused anymore. I don't want my body violated anymore. Why am I telling you this? What do you care? Because I'm telling you this because I mostly don't want it for you. All of those things have already happened to me. I'm telling you because I don't want you to end up like me. Why do we not care? Why can you not go feed a homeless person? Why can you not take a couple extra blankets to the shelter? Why do we got to make fun of people and think that they're all drug addicts because they live that way? That's my choice now. I'm not a drug addict. Have I done those things in my past? Yes, I experimented like most people in our generation. Was I ever addicted? No. I've been able to put down most things. I just had somebody tell everybody that I have problems with this, that, and the other, and we believe it. People say something nowadays, we don't even... Why did you do it? Why did you possibly murder your own children? How could you do such a thing? How could you be so narcissistic as to not tell us why? Maybe because she's telling the truth and she didn't do it. Why do we automatically believe that when someone tells us something, it's automatically true? I don't understand, like, has 5G really captured everybody? Am I living in a movie? What is happening to, even when I go, like, even regular people, I used to love this town. I used to get on so well with everybody. Even if they do hate me, that's fine. But I want them free. I don't see them being themselves. They're not being themselves. I don't know what's wrong with everybody. Why are we allowing this? Stop blaming God, man. It's not God. We're allowing this. This is our planet, and we are allowing it. That's my choice, is to either stay here where I'm not wanted and be in pain every time I see my child knowing he hates me, in pain every day because the other one doesn't speak to me, and I don't think he should for a lot of reasons. And all the things that I didn't want to happen have happened. Don't be like me. Why is everybody a character in front of the cameras now? I can't watch one single video, which, I should do more with my life than watching videos. I get that. But that's the only way I can see different people, and I think God's creation is beautiful. I love people. I love that we're not all the same. I love that some of us are chunky and thick and skinny and athletic, and some of us are caramel and cocoa and vanilla. The Bible doesn't even say we go to heaven. It doesn't even say that. Heaven is a state of mind. And if we can't even devote 15 minutes one day to pray on the same thing, how do you think we're going to have an entire community of beings ascend to the community of heaven or the kingdom of heaven when they don't even realize it's right here? It's here. We're in heaven or hell. This is it. Why do you think I see dead people? Because they're still with us. It's what we make it. It's what we decide to do with it. It is a sandbox video game because God loves us that much. Says, here, do with it as you will. But I know that I have to have rules because I'm not the only being here, and there's another trying to sneak in and do wickedness with you. But I'm your Father and I love you. So I will give you notions inherently within your being so that you know to stay away from them and not do them. Most of us know not to lie. We're born knowing it's wrong. We're born knowing it's wrong to punch somebody else in the face. We know these things inherently. Is the news lying? Are people being ended or not? Because if they are, we've got a really big problem. I don't think death is real. I think it's an illusion, but not everybody gets that yet. I don't want to see people go through things if they don't have to. God wouldn't have brought me these things. He wouldn't have given me this voice if I wasn't supposed to use it. But I don't know how to do that now. Nobody's listening. Nobody wants to hear it. Everybody's wore down. I understand that. I'm not here to condemn you. I'm not here to tell you you're terrible. We are all a part of this problem, or we can be a part of the solution. We do not have to be dragged down and dwelling in the muck and the mire. But at the same time, you can't be so disassociated that you're sitting there eating your steak with your glass of Chardonnay. Actually, Chardonnay is probably not what you would have with steak, but you get what I'm saying. Red wine is more of a steak thing, but regardless. We need to do better. Us, all of us. Why don't we care? If you really don't care and you can be honest about it, ask yourself why. Why don't you care about other beings? Somebody tells me, don't be so attached. Who cares if the person you thought you were married to has a secret spouse out there and other children? Why should you care? Just don't be so attached. I care because, number one, this person has caused me great harm, and if he's out there causing others, then that blood is on my hands, then I am partly responsible for that. That's why I care, if you want to be selfish about it. But more to the point, I care because I don't want to see anyone else go through what I went through. Don't be me. Don't be stupid. At the same time, I do believe there is somebody out there made for each of us. And I think it's kind of like what dreams may come. I think if you live a certain type of way, you get to choose what you do and where you go. But there are very few of those here, if there's any anymore. Why don't you care? Why do you watch these stealth campers knowing that they're going out there just to end people and they're getting paid to do it? And they're luring more people out there and they're getting paid to do it. And then they donate to the homeless community just so they look good on the surface, so that they can say, oh, how dare you? I would never do such a thing. How could you suggest such a thing? And I'm the one who has influence. I'm the one with millions of followers. I'm the popular one. I'm the one with the Fendi. I'm the one with the limo. I'm the one with the yacht. Do we really listen to people because they have more money? Are we really that shallow? Oh, but we gotta listen to Musk, man. He knows it all. He's got the money. He's got the tech. Really? Is that what we've turned to? He's not even a real person. He's not even a real person. He's a freaking AI caricature. He's a caricature of Bruce Wayne. If you haven't figured that out yet, I don't know what to tell you. Elon Musk is Bruce Wayne. That's who he is in this realm. That's who he's playing in this real life Fortnite that we're living. And if you don't understand that, I'm going to try and do a video on it, but I've never played Fortnite, so it's probably going to be kind of a weird video. But I think it needs touched on. Actually, I might do that next. We'll see. Please give the video a thumbs up if you understand at least the concepts I'm getting through to you. I'm sorry that I went off on a little preachy thing there. This is hard, and I don't want to do it anymore because people aren't listening and because I face so much crap for it spiritually. When you say spiritual warfare, what do you mean? When I say spiritual warfare, what do I mean? When I say spiritual warfare, what do I mean? When I say spiritual warfare, what do I mean? Let me bring this up. We'll put this up. You guys can grab this if you want. I'm going to be using it in one of the next videos. I got a little light because I have no overhead light, even though I pay way too much to live where I live. I pay to be abused. Like, seriously? I pay to be abused. Why do we do this? We get a job to go away from the family that we wait our whole lives to have. And then we go to this job to pay for this house. We're not supposed to live in boxes. We go away from the family so that we can buy them food instead of just working the land that way, that being our work, and feeding them and not leaving them. And not giving them to the state. If you don't want a family, if you want to just pawn it off on somebody else all day, don't have a family, man. Don't have one. I wanted to be with my kids. I wanted to be the one homeschooling them. I was told that wasn't an option. And when you're abused from the time like you're a child, like for people to treat me the way they do online here is ridiculous. Like it really is. People, we have issues, okay? And it's nothing that's easy to deal with. When somebody uses you and abuses you on the daily and gaslights you all the time, and all of your information comes from pretty much this person, and you know you can't trust this person. When you're living a life that way, why don't you try to live that way? We'll see how strong you are, Chief Handler. Huh. Yeah, I know you. Mucker. I know exactly who you are. You spend a real long day at work, don't you? I'm going to go and I'm going to end this because I don't want to get off on too many things here. But I am going to do just a video on the scientific aspects of CERN regarding helium and things like that, but I'm also going to do a video, and I might just do it and post. I might just do a video of graphs like this and post them so you guys have them, because I would really like, and somebody help me here, I would really like these videos to be interactive. I need your help to do these. Thank you, Michelle. I need your help to do these videos. I need the feedback, but it's not about me needing it. It's about us putting the puzzle together in the right frame. Because if I do it alone, I'm liable to build this puzzle in the wrong way. If you help me do it, maybe we can get a real vision of what's going on as far as the things we don't understand. And especially if you're somebody who's really good at science, I kind of need you. I do need you to help me. So I'm trying to figure out a good way to make the videos interactive so that I can, thank you, Katia, so that I can give you guys these charts and you have them at the same time as I have them. And I would also like to give you a few things that I'm going to write up on consent. That way I can have maybe somebody do a collaborated video with me, and we can do what I'm calling situational awareness regarding manipulation of your consent. Like, for example, how you should respond or reply, or if you should respond or reply at all. If somebody says, oh, we're having this great Christmas get together, we can't wait to see you. But just remember, you have to make sure you've been V'd, you've had your toxin before you can visit. That would be an example of situational awareness regarding consent. And I would like to do a few of those with you guys so you can get to see these things in action, and you're not just wondering, like, what is she talking about? I really want you all to be able to apply these things, because they have come to some of us at great personal cost. I've lost everything that matters to me, and that shouldn't be so important to you. Not that I should matter. What should matter to you is that not to follow and do the same things I did, so that you don't have to lose things important to you. God, I hope I thought that I didn't say that right, did I? Wow. This is hard, and it gets harder every day because I don't want to be here. And by that, I don't mean I want to end myself. I would not do such a thing. Well, never say never, right? But I have no desire to harm myself or anyone else. When I say I don't want to be here and do this anymore, I mean in this position, in this situation. And frankly, I don't know. I feel like I'm in the looking glass. Everything is backwards for me. I can't even take care of my dog. I have to physically go pick him up and stuff. I can't even tend to him because every time I'm in the room and he wants to see me and I call him, he goes the other way. And then he starts walking in those wonky circles again. So this is two dogs that I've loved very much that I've dealt with this. And Axel was supposed to be with me to the end of my testimony. I love you guys, and I pray for you all the time.